Kia ora whānau. Welcome back, beautiful souls. Okay, so let's get into our karakia and then we'll get stuck into it. Creator of our souls, thank you for bringing us together and for protecting and guiding us as we travel our journey throughout this lifetime. We ask for your support as we serve you for the greater good. Please bring to light that which needs healing, the darkness that needs forgiveness within ourselves and therefore others. Bless us with your presence through these messages and help the collective to understand your divinity within. Amen. Okay, so we're going to just quickly cut the deck. I don't want to go through the whole thing shuffling all the time because it just ends up being like a shuffle fest. Okay, so let's start. Okay, so it's really interesting because when I was preparing for this, there was an energy of not wanting to drop the ball, I felt. And that was quite interesting because things were going flying everywhere and it was all over the show. And so that could be the case for some of you, right? Okay, so let's have a look here. What is going on? Okay. There's different energy about today as well. There's been so much going on with the Schumann resonance has been just, all over the shop. So there's some, I feel like, do you know what I feel like? I felt like this the other day, is that I woke up and I just felt like I woke up to a different timeline, honestly, which was fantastic. But it's kind of like, you know how you go into, like something really great happens and then you kind of have the settling period and a coming down period, and that's what it feels like today, at least for me. I know that there's lots of different experiences for people going on at the moment, so that's how it is. But anyway, I'd be interested to know what everyone else is experiencing right now. So let's get started here with the situation, what's going on at the moment. We have the Hierophant here. I'm using this deck because I was I've been going through my decks and seeing what's talking to me and what's not, and there's some decks that I haven't used that much before and they kind of made me nervous in the past, but now they are really talking to me. So just know that I'm going off at times. That can be the meaning of the card, but it can also be the energy that I'm getting from the card. And with this card today, I'm actually getting this sense of a disconnect. And whoever this message is for, this could be a disconnect with you, and I want to say source or God or a higher power. Now, when I say that, I don't mean that you are disconnected. It just could feel like there's not a connection and you're trying so hard to get that connection, and you know it's there because I'm noticing this person down here and there's someone else way in the background. I'm not sure if you can see that there, way in the background, like looking up, like I know you're there, but I can't get to you. How do I reach you? And it's maybe that some of you are feeling ignored by the higher power. And I want you to know that this is purely just something that we believe is the case. There might be at one point in time you felt this real connection, but now it feels like there's some sort of break in that connection. This could also be to do with somebody in your life. Okay, I said that so with conviction, right, in your life. But it could be that there feels like there's a disconnect with you and somebody else, and it's kind of like you're trying to get to them, but it's just this hit and miss all the time, right? So so the challenge or the block here is this 9 of materials, and what I feel like with this is that there's ego at play here. Now, when I say that, I really mean the mind is getting in the way, because ultimately the ego is the mind, right? And it's there's all these distractions actually, because you look at this person here is just in this mode of having all these flowers, and this could be from an element of success. It could be that someone around you has succeeded to a certain point, is completely carried away by that, and has forgotten about those, connections that are important to them. But it could be this distraction in, depending obviously on your situation, that there's distractions from the things around you, right? I feel like there's a disconnect in the sense of, because if you look at this person here, there's the flower in the center, right? There's sort of this blooming, but there's also this vibrational frequency around them, but they don't seem to be aware of that. It seems, what I'm perceiving from this card and what I'm getting the feeling of it is that it's the flowers that they're focusing on and not actually seeing the vibration around them. What I want to say about this, though, is this could actually be about you being aware of the vibration around you, right? To be grateful for what it is that you have, and know that everything that it is that you are thinking is creating your reality. So be mindful of that. Honestly, it depends on your story. And in saying that, getting that message through, this could be what this disconnect is about. It's kind of like this sort of feeling of like, oh, it's not fair. No, I'm sitting here on this rock. I've got no freaking clothes, and no one's coming to help me. Like, where is my help that I need? And there's this person standing here going, hey, got a cape here. I've got a spare cape. Hello. But this person's so in their own world, wrapped up in their own problems, that they can't actually see the assistance that is being offered to them. And if they were able to get themselves in a better feeling state, they would be able to connect in with the people around them. Okay, so the past events that have led to this is the awakening. There's an awakening here, which is super interesting, right? I'm just getting a different story right now, and that is, for someone, this could just be for one person, but for someone, it's as though there's you've learned some information that has completely thrown you off track. And I actually wonder if this information is about you. It could have been about someone else, but there's something that has been ignited within you, whether that be good or bad, right? It could be an awakening. I can't even say the words. An awakening spiritually, and it may be that you've awakened so fast that you don't quite know how to handle it. Yeah, and I'm kind of getting the sense, this is so interesting, because these cards have just given me so many different stories, which is fantastic, because there is a few people that obviously are watching this, but it's kind of like the awakening could have caused this absolute sort of like rush of this is amazing, like how it can't get any better than this, and then this coming down, which is what I was saying at the beginning, right? This coming down and going, actually, it's not that great after all. And honestly, if it is a spiritual awakening, it is not pretty. Okay, when you awaken to everything, not only that's going on externally, but that which is going on internally, which ultimately is the most important thing, right? But you know, it may seem like it's all roses and unicorns, but in actual fact, it's not. And this is sometimes the expectation of people, that they think, oh, if I, you know, do wake up and become spiritually aware, my life is going to be absolutely wonderful. And it ends up being this ugly mess that we kind of have to clean up. And then it gets to the point of, you know, look, it's still a responsibility at the end of the day. And yes, it's great to be aware and it's great to be awake, but it is a responsibility. And sometimes the burden is heavy, you know, and it is difficult to carry, and it's not always what we expect, and we just want to break from it, but it's very hard to get that right. So in that regard, I feel as though that could be what is happening here for somebody. We have, in the near future, we have the Six of Emotions, and really interesting with this card, because I feel like this person here is actually reflecting back on their entire life, because you look at this woman here as holding this, what looks like it actually looks like a portal in a sense, but it's this this, you've got this child here, right, holding this crystal ball, and she's kind of, I get the sense that she's going back through her childhood and seeing where the magic was lost. Where did she lose that I suppose the inspiration for herself, right? And this is it with an awakening of any sorts, is that we start to reflect, and we reflect on ourselves. And there's some stuff we don't want to see, because if you notice here, this little girl has got her eyes blindfolded, right? And so in that regard, there could be things that you don't want to see. The other thing I'm getting from this, because there's this lady here watching, right? So this could be part of this awakening, could be you stepping into the observer part of you and watching the other two parts of you that are interacting here. So there may be some of you who are at that point. What was I going to say? Was about the intuition, because with the young girl with her eyes blindfolded and holding out this crystal ball here, this could be about practicing your intuition so that you can begin to tune into that. You know, this could be about learning about spiritual things and understanding, you know, that there's a whole lot more to life than just what we do in our everyday activities, with the mundane day-to-day things that we go through, right? And that in itself, that's, you know, part of the spiritual awakening, or it can be for some people. And it can be a little bit mind-blowing, I guess. But anyway, let's move on to the 10 of inspiration here. And this is what I was saying before about this burden, feeling like there's this burden that you're carrying. And I want to say here, understand that there are other people who have carried the burden. And so it's not just you and you alone, but it's sort of important to put the feelers out to find other people who you can walk along with the same knowledge that you have now, or who are going through the same thing. So this is in the place of the goals, right? So this is what you could be aiming for. And then it's kind of like seeing all these bulls here carrying this, you know, pot of gold, and it's like, oh, they've got the same thing, but then not really. They don't look the same as me, but this is the thing, right? They don't look the same, but they're having the same experience. And this is, I feel like what this is saying is to be open to whoever it is that comes in, to receive the gift of them also traveling that same journey, regardless of what that may look like. Okay, because it may not look like what you're expecting it to look like. Okay, this could also be about the journey. When we're talking about a spiritual awakening and talking about what does that look like, it's not, like I said, it's not a bed of roses. like we believe it is, right? And maybe this is what why this is in the challenge position here, because we think it's a bed of roses and it actually turns out not to be, and it can hit hard, you know, that can be really difficult. And so, yeah, it's opening yourself up to new experiences, no matter what they look like, and being accepting, because that is all part of it. Okay, the page of inspiration here in the position of the advice, or your invitation, I like to call it, because it is your choice whether you take this or not. And the page of inspiration here, I'm actually drawn to the cat and the vibration around the cat's head here. I'm not sure if you can see that. And I feel as though this again is this intuition. We have another cat sitting here in front of this lady here with the same vibration around it. There's a connection with animals. Some of you may have a very strong connection with animals. Black cats have been said to be spiritual cats. I'm not, you know, there's, yeah, things about black cats. I think maybe from the witches' days. I'm not entirely sure on that, so don't quote me on that. But this, I feel like this is an invitation to be open, to learn what it is that comes your way, no matter what it is. If it's learning about what are black cats, well, not what are black cats, but what do black cats do? How are they spiritual? What you know, what can they serve with? What were they used for? You know, things like that. How do I make a colourful cloud? How do I make this colourful, right? This person's stretching here, so it could be that some of you are getting into yoga, this mind body soul connection, you know, getting into that. What are the different modalities that are out there that I can discover to be able to have this awakening? I didn't go to the temperance, which is really interesting. And this here is something that you may not be aware of. And I'm noticing here this frequency of her around her head. And when I was talking earlier about being mind blowing, right? This is this energy that it's sort of giving me. And this is something that you may not be aware of, and it may be a little bit like, oh my goodness, what have I got myself into, you know? And again, I want to say that just be patient, okay? Be patient, allow the process to happen as it plays out, okay? Because you are going to, once you're on the journey, it's kind of like once you awaken, you can't go back to sleep. And, you know, which sometimes I know, like everyone that I have spoken to has said sometimes I just wish I wasn't so aware, you know, and but also there's that, but then there's also you know, in the same breath saying, but I wouldn't want to also not be aware, you know. And so in that regard, you know, it is a matter of being patient, because what's happening here, if you look at these lotus flowers, right, is that these two are open and they are handling the unseen. They know that this is all comes in cycles, and they've got that in their hands, and they're going, it's okay, because we know that completion is going to happen, and it does come in cycles, and it happens again and again and again. There's the lotus in the middle here, which is yet to blossom. Yeah, and I feel like that is what is happening, and this is the thing. When it does blossom, it is beautiful. It is beautiful, but I'm not going to mislead you and say after that it's all rainbows and unicorns, because, you know, like I say, there is a responsibility that comes with it, and it would be irresponsible of me to tell you otherwise. So the Six of Voices here in the position of your environment. This is your external influences, what is going on around you. And this is really interesting, actually. Okay, here's the thing. Okay, there's definitely someone guiding you. It's kind of like a, I mean, this gives me feminine energy vibes, but it could be male, female. It doesn't really matter. There is no gender on, you know, on the other side, right? That's not applicable. It's more the energy. But anyhow, beside the point. The what I'm getting from this is that you are protected. Okay, and whatever it is, like, this is the one thing that I would say to you, is to make sure that you do learn about things like that. Learn about protection, learn about the basics of, you know, opening up and what it is to be spiritual. I'm actually considering maybe doing some sort of classes or workbooks on that. So if that's something that you would like, please email me, because if I get enough interest, I will look into that if this is something that is happening for you, because this is really important to understand, that you do have this protection. Because if you look at this here, this person, if they're crossing this, it's river, right? A river, yeah. If they're crossing this river, they've got these spikes here that they could become, you know, like, what's the word? You know, like impaled upon, right? And this person here is holding out their hand for them to safely walk across, guiding them as they walk across this dangerous terrain. And in that regard, not to freak anybody out, but what the point of it is that there is protection for you. So be aware of that, you know, and it's not anything you can see, but it is there. And all you have to do is call on your guides or angels or whoever. But, you know, protection for yourself is paramount, because there are also, you know, bogus guides out there that can, you know, interfere. And we want to make sure that we're dealing with beings from the highest source of light, right? So in that regard, it's important for you to make sure that you're putting the right protections in place. Okay, we have the Nine of Inspiration. I actually, honestly, I really love that this is taking a different direction, because this is something I definitely want to get into helping people with. So yeah, I'm glad that I was guided to choose these cards today, and these are the messages that are coming through. Anyway, the Nine of Inspiration here this is in the place of your hopes or fears. And I just wonder if there could be a bit of fear of getting lost in it all, because honestly, when you start to learn, there is so much to learn. And when I look at my journey from when I first opened up and started learning about stuff, I honestly wish I had have recorded it from the beginning to now, because I can't even begin to tell you how much I've learned, and it's been by default, you know. And it's not that I've done everything correctly. I mean, I say correctly, but, you know, it's I've kind of done things and then I've looked back and gone, oh, that was a risk. But because I'm protected, you know, and I have a really strong team behind me, I'm lucky that was the case, you know. So yeah, you know, it can be a little bit daunting, and this could be what some of you are afraid of. For others of you, there is, you know, this wanting to get, because I kind of see in the background here, it feels like there's this bridge, and it's like wanting to find the direction that is right for you, you know. And maybe this is why this has arisen, because you've been asking, surely there's more to life than this. What else is there out there, you know? And now here's your opportunity, you know. When you ask, you are given, right? So this has been given to you, this opportunity to now to explore what things really are. You know, ask and you shall be given. So yeah, we have in the outcome here the Four of Inspiration. And this here, I love this for the outcome, because I feel like this is the connection. This is bringing together your soul tribe, like-minded, like-hearted people who are here gathering around to share what it is they know. It's sort of like everyone knows different things. No one's better than the next person. No one's intimidated by the next person, but they're all here gathered to learn from one another, to connect into a higher source, to allow the energies of themselves to connect together with the highest source of light, so that they can expand in a spiritual sense, right? So yeah, this is adorable. I love this. I was gonna clarify, but I'm actually no. Do I need to clarify? No. No, I don't need to clarify this. I love this. Absolutely adore it. So yeah, I want to say though, just without the clarification, please apply this to your situation as you see fit. This may not be about a spiritual journey. However, this could actually be about connections with other people around you. But honestly, it looks to me like even those connections, we are spiritual beings having a human experience, right? So how can it not be spiritual? We just may not actually be aware of that. So yeah, that's amazing. Anyway, let us get some messages from, who is this from? Spirit. I've got the universe cards as well, so I wanted to check it was from Spirit that I was asking. So let's just get a couple of these. I'm going to shuffle these. Okay. What advice or messages do you want to give the collective, please, Spirit? Anything else? Is that all? Okay, is that one more? One more. There it is. Thank you. Okay, so here we go. If you are noticing changes within yourself, it's because you are leaving the old version of yourself behind. You are elevating and shedding unnecessary layers. Old cycles are ending and new beginnings are on the horizon. You deserve this new chapter. Awesome. I love that. Okay, next card is find ways to fill your cup and be self full. Follow your heart and always trust your intuition. Yes, exactly what we were saying here, right? Go deep within, find your triggers and address them one by one. Self-healing is the best healing. Only then can you offer the best version of yourself. 100% absolutely. Actually, I have to say on that, just today, I was given this a bit of an upgrade, I suppose you could say. Oh no, I want to say that changes were being done within me, and I was given quite a bit of information about what goes on inside the human brain. And anyhow, I was told that the work couldn't be done unless I had have done the amount of healing that I have done, because the work that was being done on my energy field, especially my crown chakra, potentially may open the gateway for suppressed memories to come through. It may not, but it may. So my question was, before giving permission for this work to happen, was, is this a possibility? Will this give me, suppressed memories back? And it was said it may, I was told it may very well do. However, because of the healing that I've done, I am now equipped to deal with anything that may come up. And as the process went through, there were actually some situations that did become clear to me as to what happened. And yeah, it was super interesting. And it was actually found there was an accident that happened when I was 18 months old, and I actually died in the accident, but it wasn't my time. It wasn't my time, and I came back into a new timeline. And yeah, super freaking interesting. Anyway, let's carry on with your messages. I just wanted to let you know that, this is where the work is beneficial, because it means that you can actually progress and get to the point where you can be with your soul tribe and be on the same level, because as you heal, you'll be able to meet people where they're at and they will you as well. So this is where we can sit with people and not be intimidated by them and not feel less than, because we have done the healing that is required in order to navigate our way through this journey. Okay, the next card is, when your door doesn't open, don't waste your energy trying to make it open. It's closed for a reason. You are being redirected to something far bigger and better. Endings are part of the cycle. They make way for wonderful new beginnings and opportunities. Yes, and that's exactly what I was saying at the beginning, right? This could be about a connection with somebody, right? And maybe there is a connection that has ended. It could be with family or friends. It could even be a job, that has, that is ending for you, or a relationship. But either way, even if you're on a new journey spiritually, there's an ending of the old life, because, and some people can really grieve that, because this awakening can happen, especially with the awakening, especially if you found out the truth about something. It can be shocking, and it can be, something that we may go back and go, I wish I had never heard that, or I wish I had never found that out, or I wish that person had never told me that. No, I wish I didn't overhear that conversation, you know, and it can be awful. And I was in that position a few months ago where I overheard a conversation and everything clicked for me, where I realized that, oh my gosh, this person is not who I thought they were, and then everything else started to add up. And I was just like, I wish I had never heard that. But at the same time, I'm pleased I did, because I wouldn't want to be in a situation where it's not, there's not honesty and there's not authenticity, So in that regard, it's like, yes, we wish that we could, not have these changes, because it can feel disruptive, but the path that it ends up leading us down can be way better than what we were on to begin with, which is why that occurs, right? So, yeah. But honestly, my heart is with you if you are going through changes right now and it's difficult. Because it can be hard to see what's down the track and know that that's for the better. When you're in the midst of it, it can be difficult to come to that realization. Okay, so the last card here is, let go of the old and make way for the new. You may find yourself being distracted by random thoughts, fears, or doubts. Don't allow yourself to be governed by them. Simply observe and choose to take aligned actions and choices. Absolutely, I love that. That is so true. Okay, I'm going to leave that with you. This was an awesome reading. Thank you for lending me your energy for this reading. I really appreciate you. And continue on your worthwhile journey, because you are worth it. Okay, in the meantime, take care of your beautiful self. See you. Bye-bye.